ನಾಯಕ ಆದವನು ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬನನ್ನ ಗೆಲ್ಲಿಸಲೇಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಸೋಲಿಸಿದವನು ನಾಯಕನೇ.
ನೀವು ವೀಕ್ಷಿಸುತ್ತಿರುವಿರಿ ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಕನ್ನಡ.
Republic Kannada has officially launched.
So today we dedicate Republic Kannada to the people of Karnataka.
Republic Kannada here in Karnataka.
So today we dedicate Republic Kannada to the people of Karnataka.
I'm Deepthi Sachdeva and you're watching the Weekend Debate. What a week this has been, ladies and gentlemen. The very, very historic Women Reservation Bill finally being passed from both the houses. It's going to get moving. There are concerns about the timelines, but at least, like they say, we have started taking bigger steps to be able to achieve a bigger goal. We've seen a new parliament. You've seen the transition from the old to the new, and many say that again is a step towards new beginnings. Not to forget, both the I.N.D.I.A, the I.N.D.I.A alliance have started getting ready. Things are shaping up for the big battle of 2024. But in the middle of all this, as the country is looking forward to new laws, new historic laws, like the Prime Minister said, being drafted, being discussed, being passed in the parliament, who has a problem with the new parliament building? Someone has a problem with the architecture, someone has a problem with the air conditioning. Are these just excuses to sully the new Sansad of the country? Yes, that's going to be a debate in just a moment. And also remember, a lot of interesting trivia that's coming your way. You have seen a new law in the parliament, the new Sansad, if I may say that. A BJP MP is using vile words against another MP. We haven't seen much of an action on that front also, but let's get kick-started this edition of the Weekend Debate. First up, as always, our headlines. The Republic Media Network storms the Karnataka market. Our Kannada is officially live now. Six years, 4 channels, 6 super brands. Republic Media Network is getting started. With 438 million reach in the last 6 years, Republic is now India's largest news network.
राष्ट्रपति ने 5 दिन का सेशन बुलाया था, लेकिन 4 दिन में ही खत्म किया। क्यों? क्योंकि उनको नया बनाया हुआ बिल्डिंग दिखाना था।
It's a major face-off, as Rahul said, is calling the parliament a quote-unquote Modi multiplex. The Congress chief is calling the special session a quote-unquote exhibition.
हमारे राष्ट्रपति द्रौपदी मुर्मू जी को वो नए बिल्डिंग इनॉग्रेशन में इनविटेशन भी नहीं दिया। ये है शेड्यूल ट्राइब के तहत।
The Congress president stoking another controversy is insulting President Murmu. He also says Kovind was not invited for the inauguration earlier because he says was quote-unquote untouchable.
जब से इस स्टेडियम की तस्वीरें बाहर आई हैं, हर काशीवासी गदगद हो गया है।
In his Lok Sabha constituency of Varanasi, the Prime Minister launching a plethora of projects, including the Lord Shiva-inspired Mega International Stadium. Khalistani terrorist Nijar was put on the no-fly list by the US as well as by Canada. Is Trudeau then backing a Khalistani terrorist? So in school, remember, there are always children, always kids who would love to complain. They would always find, issues to axe and grind with. They would also tell you that this isn't working, that isn't working, and that is why perhaps, I've not been able to score that many marks. But what happens when you are into real politics? What happens when you're dealing with a man like Narendra Modi, who continues to be very, very, very popular? How will you deal with someone who's spoken, he's conceived, he's given us a new parliament? Many would say that is landmark. The new parliament, remember, has a lot of firsts to it. But that's not the story we are putting our focus on. The new parliament, ladies and gentlemen, has seen the very, very historic Women Reservation Bill being discussed, being debated by about 60 members and then being passed. You can question the government about the timelines, about why did they take so long, why did they bring this so close to the elections, all that is fine. But what happens when you begin questioning the new parliament building itself? When you say that is not the new parliament, it's not the new Sansad, it is a Modi multiplex. Yes, you've heard that right. Jairam Ramesh of the Congress has a lot to say today on the Indian Parliament, the new Parliament building. Allow me to quote from what he says. He says the new Parliament building, launched with so much hype, actually realizes the Prime Minister's objectives very well. He goes on to say it should be called the Modi Multiplex or the Modi Marriott. Then he says, after 4 days, what I saw was the death of confabulations and conversations, both, he says, inside the two houses and in the lobbies. If architecture, Mr. Jairam Ramesh says, can kill democracy, the Prime Minister has already succeeded even without rewriting the Constitution. He has a long post on this. He speaks about binoculars that have to be used to look at each other. He says, you cannot have a good working relationship because you have to walk so much. You cannot figure out what is where. It's like a maze. And it goes on and on and on. And towards the end, what he says is equally important. He says perhaps a better use for the new parliament building will be found after a regime change. He uses that word. He says after a regime change in 2024. Now, as expected, the BJP has hit back. The BJP is reminding the Congress of all its sins. Also of the fact that why can't the Congress be an equal participant in our festival of democracy? Why can't the Congress celebrate that we have a new parliament? The parliament, remember, is not just for the treasury benches, it's also for the opposition. We've seen all of these members speaking on the women reservation bill. Now, what really is the problem with the Congress, and do the other alliance partners of the I.N.D.I. alliance bloc really agree with what many are saying is an absurd criticism by Jairam Ramesh? Architecture and democracy. What is Jairam Ramesh even wanting to say? And is this how the Congress believes it can win elections in 2024? Now, on your screens, you're also looking at highlights of what Jairam Ramesh has said. And like I said, you must read his post to understand how absurd it can actually get. Criticism for the sake of criticism. But where does this land the Congress? What does this mean for the Congress in particular? Do the allies agree with this? And is this how the Congress believes it will be able to defeat Narendra Modi come 2024? The story is fascinating. It's been a hectic week, but a very, very interesting one. Let's bring up the entire story and then we debate.
The I.N.D.I.A has launched a concerted attack on the new parliament. In a series of back-to-back statements, I.N.D.I.A members have attacked the concept and planning for the building, its inauguration, and the inaugural special session that just concluded.
एक चीज जो मैं बता रहा हूं, जो ग्रेस और मैजेस्टी उस बिल्डिंग में थी। दूसरा एक बहुत अच्छा पहलू है, हम जब सदन में बैठते थे ना, तो पक्ष का आदमी विपक्ष के पास बड़ी आसानी से जाकर के एक संवाद रहता था। आज हमारे पास कुछ नहीं है।
Calling it a Modi multiplex, the Congress says it will find a new use for the parliament if it displaces the Modi regime in 2024. Right after Congress MP Jairam Ramesh criticized the new parliament, BJP President J.P. Nadda hit out, stating that such statements showcase a pathetic mindset. The BJP has also called out the Grand Old Party for insulting the aspirations of 140 crore Indians. And more voices have added their own attacks and counter-attacks.
मोदी जी ने 5 दिन का सेशन बुलाया था, लेकिन 4 दिन में ही खत्म किया। क्यों? क्योंकि उनको नया बनाया हुआ बिल्डिंग दिखाना था और उस बिल्डिंग में ऐसा क्या है मुझे तो मालूम नहीं हुआ।
Union Minister Giriraj Singh also joined the debate, daring the Congress to return Indira Gandhi's residence property. While Hardeep Puri said that the problem is with the Congress, not the Parliament. With an all-out battle now breaking out over what one would think is an irrevocable symbol of New India, the question is the opposition running out of issues? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
And I think a lot of you must have now Googled Jairam Ramesh, seen his post. So it's important to have that entire context, and we'll get in all our guests on that entire issue. Ajay Alok is the national spokesperson of the BJP with us. Tushar Gupta is a senior journalist. He's with us here in our studios. A.K. Vajpayee ji is an advocate, chief spokesperson of the LJP. Patabi Ram Komar Reddy is the national spokesperson of the TDP. Revula Sridhar Reddy is the leader of the BRS. Advocate Parambir Singh ji is spokesperson of the Shiromani Akali Dal. Ravi Srivastava is a political analyst. He often leans towards the Aam Aadmi Party. Nikhil Jain is also an advocate. He's a political analyst and he leans towards the Congress. Nikhil was expected to be in the studio, but he's stuck in traffic is what I'm told. So Nikhil, I'll throw the first question to you. You know, Delhi is looking so pretty right now. After the G20, you've seen a new Delhi. People are in awe, you know, people feel so much pride once they step out. They want to see how Delhi can look. And, you know, there's so much change. And the new parliament building, I must say, is also a part of a new beginning. Now, what is the problem that the Congress has with the building? Is it the building? Is it the, you know, the routes that you can't take or you can't figure out? Or is it the air conditioning? Like Pramod Tiwari says, what is the problem, man? Nikhil? No, Nikhil, you'll have to unmute yourself.
DP,
because we have to hear
I'm
you.
saying, yeah, right.
Yes.
I think I personally today am the very wrong person to be told that Delhi is looking like a very pretty city. I've been out of my place since 80 minutes. I'm only 6 kilometers away because that's the kind of traffic that Delhi is facing right now. So I'm not sure if I need to credit G20 for it or something else. So far as the parliament building is concerned, see, architecture is indeed intertwined with the functionality of the buildings. And to give you a simple example, if you look at buildings in the Soviet era, in Soviet cities, vis-a-vis buildings in democracies, government buildings, institutional buildings, you would realize the difference in the architecture. One is very distant from the streets, from the people, and one is very close. And what Jairam Ramesh and other opposition leaders today are saying is that this parliament building, from an architectural perspective, is not something that facilitates easier deliberation and discussion between different members of parliament across party lines. And I feel that is the very purpose of a building that is to house the Parliament of India, the temple of democracy. You can't have a temple where the priest doesn't have a proper place to step. You can't have a temple where the priest can't, get in touch with the devotees properly. And this is exactly the criticism that they're raising, that once you lose your way in the building, you don't find it. It's a maze.
Nikhil.
The seats are very distant. The members of parliament
Nikhil,
can't
I'm
easily walk
confused.
towards
I
each
do
other
not
as
know
they could in
whether
the
this is
previous
the
days.
Delhi traffic, and you've been stuck in that for so long, and that's why he's so worked up, Tushar, that, I don't know what he's saying, because I just can't understand, much like what I did not understand from the tweet of Jairam Ramesh. But what we'll do is we'll give about a minute to all our panelists so that we can have the first comments from everyone, and then we'll have the counters also coming in. Let me take this next to Ravi. Ravi, the Congress says perhaps a better use for the new parliament building will be found after regime change in 2024. So Ravi, what do you think the new parliament building can be used for?
See, Deepthi, that definitely can be worked out. They could make some new offices over there, some new establishments may come up over there.
You are also serious about this, Ravi?
No, it's okay. What I'm saying is, a triangular structure is never considered to be an auspicious one. That's a fact. Now, this Modi Mega Mall or Modi Multiplex or whatever Jairam Ramesh has said, those are the people who have moved in the parliament for more than 4 decades. So I think we have to listen to their comments.
But Ravi, just because Jairam Ramesh has tweeted, you do not have to second that opinion. No, you're still a free-thinking individual. You can think and opine according to what you believe is right. You're finding it difficult to justify what he's written.
I'm telling you my original thought, that in the old parliament, you will not get misplaced because this is a circular one. And here, it's a maze. You will not be able to come back to the same position from where you have moved. So that's what they have said, that they are not able to talk to people. They need binocular to see the people. There were women hired for coming in the guest gallery and making a praise for Mr. Modi for doing that women empowerment bill and all. They were hired in the badges, and many came over there. They sat there. There was a drama created because Mr. Modi wanted to showcase that this is a new building and a new beginning is being done. But that new beginning has been done in the worst kind of a closure, that a session ended, 5-day session ended in 4 days, and that too with the abuses to a minority MP in the most filthy and the vile language.
Ravi, you're shifting goalposts. What you're saying, partly I agree with those points, but then to say that, the architecture here can kill democracy, I do not know whether other people will agree with this. Now, it's important to have what the BRS, the SAD and the TDP have to say before I go to Ajay Alok, also to Tushar and to Vajpayee ji here. Revula Reddy, do you agree with what Jairam Ramesh says? Is there any logic in what he says, or just because it is Narendra Modi, he's inaugurated the new parliament, he conceived the idea, so we have to oppose him?
First, I feel that there should not be any blind opposition for everything what the government does, number one. Two, I don't even have to either negate or accept, rather support Jairam Ramesh's statement. That's his opinion. If government has to say anything in written, they already have said. I think now everything become political. So Jairam Ramesh expressed his opinion and immediately BJP hit back. So we don't find, no interest in such issues. These are all issues which are not concerning people of this country and involving 140 crores. BJP says that this has insulted 140 crores Indians, building in such a dimension or designs. And again, BJP says again they are insulting 40 crores. I mean, for 140 crores of Indians, which are other issues, larger issues, which are unemployment or price rise or debt issues.
But are you proud, Ravula, are you proud of the new parliament building?
What these two political parties, I'm really surprised, Deepthi, are not they finding much bigger issues of the people to discuss? And these kind of petty political issues every day cropping up, and we are discussing on it as a, issue which is actually bothering the entire nation. I'm sorry. I think these two political parties, that's the reason why I say we maintain equidistant with both the parties, because they don't have any sincerity towards the people of this country and for their development and welfare. Every day in, day out, they want some issue to be, in the floating, and they discuss, and they only will be there and all. I mean, both the political parties have some sense to, coming up with this kind of issue.
Okay.
I feel now the new parliament has come in, we already have entered. At least now take the responsibility as an opposition, bring out most important issues for the people. As a ruling party, much larger issues to be addressed. I think you need to focus on those things instead of unnecessarily fighting on these kind of petty political issues.
Okay, so basically, the BRS believes, Nikhil and Ajay Alokji, that these are basically non-issues, and because both the Congress, the BJP want to continue this fight, the regional parties right now are wondering why you're fighting about non-issues, is what he says. What about the Shiromani Akali Dal? Parambir Singh ji, do you think this is really an issue, and who today is playing absurd politics? I mean, is it really about the structure of the parliament that the Congress should be opining on? Is it really about the air conditioning, about the maze that Jairam Ramesh says it's become? What is the Congress's problem? How do you see this?
See, Deputy Congress MP Mr. Jairam Ramesh has described the new parliament as multiplex. Expressed disappointment at the decline of the meaningful discussions and conversation relating to the people of the nation, and further relates the architecture to kill the democracy. So I would only request Mr. Jairam Ramesh to have a look at the earlier regime of the Congress. The old parliament, which he suggests has a good architecture, was used as the on the sweet will of the leaders of the Congress to dissolve the state elected governments and further to impose governor rule and imposition of emergencies just to achieve their political sweet wills. And further, it was only nearby the streets of the said parliament where the Sikhs were burnt alive by the and none of the including the Jairam ji has expressed even a word against the genocides of the Sikhs. And the political party shall remember the one thing which is important, that whether it may be the earlier building or it's the present building, it has been built by the hard-earned money of the people of the India. And we should not describe it in any manner which should be insulting to the people of India. And further, I would request that it is still surprising and shocking that whether it was the earlier parliament or it's the new parliament, the manner in which the agenda relating to the minorities and the name by which an elected member of parliament of the minority is being addressed, it's really a state of affairs of the minorities in the countries under the earlier or the present government, I would say, which reflects that what is their intention towards the minorities. So these kind of politics should be stopped, and we should really focus towards the people of the nation, and we should address those agendas, and we should formulate those rules which are for the upliftment of the people of the nation, and also including the minorities.
Okay, so both Ravula Reddy and Parambir Singh ji, I think have made very reasonable points, and Ajay Alok, Vajpayee ji and Nikhil must listen into that, because that is also an important opinion, sitting in a democracy. that their voice also matters. Why don't you, both political parties, they say, draw your attention to the issues, to the demeanor of your member of parliament, also on the floor of the House. And I have to get in Patabhi very quickly before I open this to Ajay Alok, to Tushar and to Vajpayee ji for their responses to this. Now, Patabhi, when you have Jairam Ramesh saying that when there will be a regime change in 2024, we'll, put this new building to a better use. Is he insulting the new parliament and by that effect the country, the mandate?
Yeah, first of all, before answering your question, Deepthi, I would like to congratulate Arnab and his entire team at Republic today for launching their Kannada channel, Republic Kannada. I hope that it will be as successful as your other channels are. And I wish you start a Republic Telugu channel also very soon for the people in Andhra and Telangana. So, and coming back to the your question today,
my team tells me shortly. So thank you and shortly.
So coming back to your question, it is very sad and totally unwanted for Jairam Ramesh to make such a comment on the new temple of democracy. I mean, see, if you look at the regime of the Congress, I mean, I don't remember any great structure that have come up during the Congress rule, which had ruled for more than more than 50 years. Apart from renovating 10 Janpad quite a couple of times, what had they built? If I was just thinking, I could remember only one incident, Deepthi. 2010 Commonwealth Games, stuck my mind. I could remember the footover bridge which collapsed and which had injured so many people. So that was, I think that was the achievement of the great UPA regime. They are talking so much about the new parliament building, its architecture and so many other finer details. Mr. Jairam Ramesh, people have not forgotten what you have achieved during the Commonwealth Games. You have spent a staggering 70,000 crore in Delhi. And what have you achieved? A collapsed footover bridge near the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium, which had injured more than 30 people on that day. That is what you have achieved. That is the track record of UPA governments and the Congress-led UPA government. So you don't have any right to comment, on the present I.N.D.I.A government or Mr. Modi or the new parliament building, because there is nothing you have achieved in whichever period you have ruled. And it is only instances like the collapse of the footover bridge that people remember. Those are your achievements. So you don't have any right to comment on the architecture and other finer details of the new parliament building.
Okay, I think that's quite a reality check coming in from the TDP for Nikhil. Nikhil, I know you want to come in, but I have to go to Ajay, to Vajpayee ji and to Tushar because they haven't spoken yet. So Ajay, let me ask you what we've heard from Revula Reddy, from Parambir Singh ji and also from Patabhi. They want to say, why don't you talk about real issues instead of, indulging in this fight with the Congress? The Congress for a reason is in the opposition. The Congress for a reason is staying diminished, but the BJP for a reason is in power. When you have your own member of parliament, on the floor of the House, using the choicest of abuses against a fellow member of parliament, and the BJP does not act against him, Ajay, they say, why are you speaking about what Jairam Ramesh is saying? Forget Jairam Ramesh. What is the BJP standing for?
Well, I'll start by saying that if you don't change with time, the time changes you. समय के साथ जो अपने आप को नहीं बदलेगा, समय उसको बदल देता है. This is a hard fact. Regarding our parliamentarian, what he has done, nobody is with him. Everybody condemns that statement, right from my president to the leader of the house and everyone, including the speaker. And he has been given the show cause notice, and the party will take action in due course. This is our party, and we believe in discipline. At least, what do you say? Many people are saying that just a cover-up operation by giving a show cause notice. What notices they have issued to the Haryana State Congress president, who spoke great.
No, but Ajay, you're sounding like the Congress when you say all this, no? We've issued him a show cause notice, wait for the action. Why do you need a show cause notice for what he has said?
We don't care, we don't care. No, we don't care, we don't care. We don't care because we know the character of Congress. Now I'll give you some classical example here. I think have you seen a drug addict? Your viewers might be knowing that if a drug addict doesn't get drug for long, he starts behaving bizarre. He becomes violent. He becomes abusive. Being a doctor, I'm telling you. That's what this Congress party is going through. For the last 2 years, if you analyze the Congress party, the amount of abuses, the bizarre statement, everything, like right now, what Kharge said in your opening, Mr. Kharge ji said, 8 दिन का सेशन बुलाया था, 4 दिन में खत्म कर दिया. Ravi said 5 days का सेशन था, 4 दिन में खत्म कर दिया. They don't even know. That session was always from 18 to 22nd. It was very well announced. But this is a bizarreness. After spending 4 days in the parliament, after taking part in the debates and discussion, suddenly he feels that he requires binoculars. You know, what happened, I guess in 4 days he must have increased his eyesight. So because he wears a strong specs, I think there's some problem with his eyesight, so he needs binoculars now. Now see, why I say abuses. Today even Kharge ji what said? He again deliberately mispronounced president's name. Today he said, you can just rewind and play it, Draupadi Murmu. He said Draupadi Murmu on your TV right now, it was playing. Earlier, who is Kharge? Leader of opposition in the Rajya Sabha. What did Mr. I.N.D.I.A. Chaudhary did when she became the president?
Ajay.
The leader of opposition in Lok Sabha. She's a Rashtrapatini. No, I'm just recalling all the incidents one by one. So this is the chronology. Now the time will come.
No, you forget. I know that. And our viewers remember this. The voters of the country, Ajay, are very smart. But I have to draw you back to the moot question that has been raised by everyone. Now tell me something. What Ramesh Biduri said, does that amount to hate speech or no?
What Ramesh Biduri said, number one, is absolutely condemnable. You can name it differently, whether it's a hate speech or not a hate speech. But it's done inside the parliament. The court has no verdict on it. The speaker has to take a call. The speaker and the party will take a call on it. What I say as a spokesperson of the party, that yes, our party has given him a show cause notice and a 10 days period of time just to explain his position why he did that.
Okay.
Otherwise, a strict action will be taken. Remember, what we say, we do that. We are not into abuses. We don't abuse people. We don't abuse Congress party. We don't abuse Gandhis. All the abusive languages,
MPs of the BJP
lies with Gandhi and the Congress party.
So,
I mean, they are making a mockery of 140 crores Indians.
They are
insulting 140 crores Indians when they say something about the parliament. The parliament is the sacrosanct of democracy. And especially when you have spent 4 days there and you have done all the discussion, then suddenly you realize that this parliament is not good. This is a Modi complex. We'll make use of different things when we come to power. देश ऐसे चलता है क्या? I mean, what kind of... They are in a habit
Ravi,
of
देश ऐसे चलाएंगे आप, उसके बाद वाजपेयी जी and Tushar have to also respond.
You have to change.
Ravi, देश ऐसे चलाएंगे कि parliament बन गया, but because you do not like Narendra Modi, and I accept it, this is only Modi hatred. I mean, you are opposing it for the sake of opposition, no? You say triangular structure, AC not working, it's looking like a maze, I need a binocular. I mean, where are the real issues that you're also talking about?
The BJP person, what he is talking about, what Kharge ji said, what Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary said, they are not Hindi speaking people. They can do mistakes, but this is not a communal,
very
wild, malicious.
You know that there is a Haryana Congress chief. Ravi, I have a solution to that problem. Ravi, I have a solution to that problem. There is a Haryana Congress chief. His name is Uday Bhan. He understands, he speaks Hindi very well. Do you know what he said about the Prime Minister today? So do not. I mean, say that what has been said is abominable, it's repugnant, it should not have been said. There should be action. Do not sit here and defend this, Ravi.
Talking about personalities is different. Somebody can talk about Mr. Modi, somebody can talk about Amit Shah. What I
You can talk about the Prime Minister like this. Are you justifying this?
Communal. His ranks, his statements are ranked communal. It is against the 20
Yes,
crore
but that does not
population
justify
of this
someone
country.
else making
That's what
bad
I'm saying.
comments also.
It's not a personality.
What he
It's
said
not
about the
against
Prime
personality.
Minister, what a lot of
It's
other
against
leaders
a
have said about the Prime
community
Minister,
or
these are
religion.
equally bad comments, no, Ravi?
No, it is not. It is. What
Arey Baba, it
Biduri
can't be
said
my hate
is
speech
the
versus your
worst
hate
thing to
speech,
do.
no, Ravi?
It is the
You won't
worst
get more
kind of
marks
hate
because,
speech.
someone had
It
an
is
hate
against
speech and you just had
20
bad
crore
speech.
population of this country. This is what I mean to say. You can talk about personality.
Ravi says that the BJP MP statement is against the 20 crore people in this country who practice the faith of Islam. Very rightly put. But Ravi Srivastav, will you answer what Rahul Gandhi meant yesterday when he said that the MPs in the parliament are as powerless as the murtis in a mandir? Wasn't that an insult to 100 crore Hindus? If that is an insult, what Ramesh Biduri said was an insult to 20 crore Muslims who are Indians first. Wasn't what Rahul Gandhi said an insult to 100 crore Hindus? Or do Hindus do not matter? You have been standing here justifying every sort of hateful remark by the Congress and its allies, and yet you do not answer about the comments that were made by Rahul Gandhi. Will you accept that was hatred for 100 crore Hindus? Yes or no?
You tell me, did he say
yes or no? What Rahul Gandhi said about the murtis in the mandir, was that hate speech? Yes or no? Was that insult to 100 crore Hindus? Yes or no? Stop talking about the parliament for a second. You said it's an insult. The remarks of the BJP MP were an insult. We all agree with you. Now, what did you say about the remarks of Rahul Gandhi, who is also an MP of the Congress?
100 crore Hindus will tackle their problem themselves. 100 crore Hindus are more worried about a job.
So the 20 crore Muslims will also tackle their problem themselves. They don't need a hypocrite like you to represent them. You're a hypocrite, Mr. Ravi Srivastav.
What are you
You're
talking?
a hypocrite.
100 crore Hindus, 100 crore Hindus.
Okay, Ravi and Tushar for a moment pull back. I have to get in Vajpayee ji also into the conversation. And Ravi, what are you doing about that? What this BJP MP has said on the floor of the House is hate speech. It is hate speech, period, Ravi. But you know, one then has to be honest to call out all hate speeches. That's the limited point I am making, Ravi, to you. You know, when you have an Udayanithi Stalin speaking against the Sanatan Dharma, you have to condemn that comment. You cannot say, oh, listen, this is his personal statement. This is exactly the problem with political parties who begin to speak from the position that they are sitting in, Ravi. No, relax. Okay, you've made your point. You've made your point, Ravi. Please.
Honorable Supreme Court will decide.
Absolutely. Ravi, please pull back for a moment. Let me get in Vajpayee ji into the conversation. He hasn't spoken. Okay. Let me get in Vajpayee ji. Now, Vajpayee ji, do you believe what Ramesh Biduri has said, and more so, the fact that there hasn't been action against him could become problematic for the BJP? You know, the Congress, the entire opposition today is up in arms saying, why is the BJP not expelling him? This man does not deserve to be in public life.
No, BJP has already issued show cause notice. There is a natural process, natural justice is there. Kindly appreciate that also. And I see to it as an individual act of a MP. You can't blame to the party. The party will take action. But opportunities are to be given to the other side also. Individual acts, you are making such a high drama on this that he has done something else which is not done by the other side. So many repeated incidents are there where lathi charge has taken place in Bihar, in the assembly itself. And I can give you 100
don't do this, sir. You understand the law. You have far better political experience than others on the panel, sir. You know this is hate speech.
Please,
the BJP does not stand for this, right? So that is why there has to be action against him.
I am not endorsing it. Please understand. I am not endorsing it, number one. I am condemning it, number two. And I am simply saying an individual act of Ramesh Biduri, against whom the party will take appropriate action, number one. As far as the hate speech is concerned, within the boundaries of the Lok Sabha or Parliament, no outsider action can be taken against Biduri. And the third thing is, then what happens? Supreme Court has already directed all the state government to take suo moto action and register an FIR. Why the Tamil Nadu government has not done so far against the Dayanidhi? So you have given license to criticize.
Yes, that's a valid question.
And if something is said, and then you will take. Yes, why? When the Supreme Court has directed, and who is the supreme power? The law is to be given interpretation by the Supreme Court only. So if in your case you will not follow the law, in my case you say, why did you not do? When the show cause notice has been issued, action would be taken. Ethics committee is there, speaker is there, all due course of law will be adopted. And third thing is, that they are simply doing self-goal to their party only. They have no issue in hand. They are in search of the issues. Sometimes they catch this Pegasus, then Ruffles, then Manipur. So they are in the search of the issues which they will not get, because the Modi government is working on the real issue.
Okay, so Vajpayee says that the Congress has no issues. Nikhil will respond to this, but Tushar wants to come in quickly. Tushar, 20 seconds.
I have been to the new parliament. Let me tell you something. I have been to the new parliament house. I have been to the old parliament house. There are a lot of senior journalists who today are talking about how the old parliament lacked basic facilities for women. They had washrooms. The washrooms, absolutely. There were no washrooms in the old parliament before 2014 for women journalists, and perhaps, who knows, even for women MPs. I can't be sure. The people who are justifying this new hatred against the new parliament building, I mean, Jairam Ramesh, look at his tweet. On one hand, he says, I need binoculars to look at the other end, but he also feels claustrophobic. This is opposition for the sake of opposition. Now, if you continue to have a stance like this for the last 9 years, ahead of this election, 6 months from now, which voter will take you seriously?
But Tushar, how does this help the Congress?
It doesn't.
Why is the Congress doing this?
Because they've run out of ideas, Deepti. They've run out of ideas long ago. You look at any big event in the last 10 years, you look at the pandemic, you look at G20.
Even the G20, yes.
You look at G20. Opposition for the sake of opposition. The government passes the women reservation bill. Where is the OBC? The government talks about India or Bharat. They have a problem with that. The government talks about making vaccines in India. They have a problem with the vaccines. What in the last 10 years has the Congress offered in terms of new ideas or actually an alternate solution? Absolutely nothing. This is a party which is facing an existential crisis, which is banking on regional allies to win the elections of 24, which has been defeated again today in the Delhi University elections while it collaborated with the Aam Aadmi Party, and it has run out of intellectuals. It was a party of intellectuals perhaps in another century, but today it has run out of ideas, it has run out of intellect, and right now ahead of the elections, it's just opposing for the sake of it, and it won't end well.
So Nikhil, I know Ravi Srivastava wants to give you cover fire, but Ravi, for a moment, pull back. Let Nikhil have a say, then you can come in. Nikhil, why does the Congress believe that being obstructionist is the way forward? Will this really help you? Will this get you votes? I mean, look, exactly what I think Tushar said is right, because what happened in Dusu again, many would say, has a national message. In spite of everything, in spite of you people claiming that there is a sea change, mood badal raha hai, desh ka mood badal jayega, the young voter who's going to be voting in the elections of 2024 does not agree with what you're saying, perhaps with your politics, and being so obstructionist all the time. Nikhil?
Deepti, first of all, to extrapolate Dusu elections into national politics would not be the most appropriate thing to do. Secondly, the TDP spokesperson had earlier said, that what did the Congress build in the past 60-70 years that was in power? May I remind him that the current Supreme Court building was built during the Congress era in 1958. The entire city of Chandigarh, which is now taught as an example of great architecture across the world, was built during the... Sir, बीच में मैंने आपको नहीं काटा था, आप काटना बंद करेंगे? सर, मैंने बीच में नहीं काटा था, आपको नहीं काटा था बीच में. एक फुटओवर ब्रिज को लेके आप बात कर रहे हैं, आप मोरबी के ब्रिज की बात करिए, आप मोरबी के ब्रिज की बात नहीं करेंगे. Deepti, can I make my point without being interjected? Can I make my point without being interjected?
It's absolutely nothing.
But see, Nikhil, you have your side of the story. The regional players also will show you the mirror. No, they will also show you the mirror. Nikhil, you have to be open. You have to be open to criticism. The point is, it's easy to write a long post like this with flowery words, with a flowery English. If you believe this really helps the Congress, then I mean, be my guest. This is exactly why you believe that politics should take place. But you must handle real criticism today that is not just coming in from BJP, but also from parties like the Shiromani Akali Dal, the BRS and the TDP, Nikhil. These are powerful regional players.
DP, absolutely they are. Nobody is denying that. And my friend from the TDP also belongs to a leader on whose head there is always the sword of the ED. We all know what politics the TDP is playing right now, what politics the BRS is playing right now. They are neither aligning with the India bloc, they're not aligning with the NDA bloc. They want to sit in the middle and see who wins.
Congress is not playing politics. You are talking of the OBC quota for women when earlier in the Rajya Sabha you never spoke about that.
Why was the Congress saying that the lions on the national emblem on the top of the new parliament building are aggressive? You had a problem that the lions in the national emblem are too aggressive. Since the day that the work on this new parliament building has begun, Congress has only been opposing. First it was the cost, then the lions are too aggressive. Today, oh, we cannot hang out in the parliament. Tomorrow it will be, oh, we have to walk too much. Day after it will be, oh, it's too hot, the air conditioning doesn't work. My question is, if you have genuine concerns with respect to the security architecture, with respect to the infrastructure, you might raise them. But what is the opposition when you say, oh, the lions are too aggressive, oh, we cannot hang out, oh, it's too claustrophobic? How can the new parliament building be claustrophobic when your minister says that you need a binoculars to look at the other end? How does it make any logical sense?
4 months ago, and we had an entire monsoon session that took place in the old building. Why was that? Because this is probably an incomplete project.
So what is the problem? I don't understand, Nikhil. I mean, be honest and say कि नरेंद्र मोदी ने ये किया है, इसलिए हमें अच्छा नहीं लगता. Our politics is anti-Modi. That is the crux.
The politics of the Congress is speaking the truth. It is a parliament building जिसकी scaffolding नहीं उतरी है अभी तक यार. Ask your anchors in the morning. Ask Suyesha. Ask Rakshita. Ask Nikita. They've been covering.
अरे पुरानी पार्लियामेंट बिल्डिंग के तो ढांचे वैसे ही कमजोर थे, उसमें भी तो सेशन करवाने में खुश थे ना आप.
Sir, scaffolding nahi. Tushar,
are you saying we did not need a new parliament building at all?
Holding sessions and that.
You know, you've raised questions like Tushar said on n number of things. Kartavya Path, Central Vista, everything. I mean, you name it and the Congress says we do not need this. This is a splurge. And now you go on to say Modi Multiplex or Modi Marriott? What is a Modi Multiplex? What is a Modi Multiplex, Ravi? You want to help your friend Nikhil?
No, let me help myself and let me make my point.
What is Modi Multiplex?
Jairam Ramesh has given a tweet in his personal capacity. I may personally agree with it, but that is not something that the Congress is raising politically. What the Congress has.
So is this a joke, Ravi?
Are the abusers?
Ravi, you yourself said Multiplex is a place where people come for getting their entertainment. Now, are you calling the parliament a multiplex? I mean, is this some kind of a joke, Ravi? We have just seen the all-important historic women reservation bill, and you are saying this is a multiplex?
Let me take your analogy.
The women reservation bill that will not come into effect till 20 years from now.
Always criticize, right? So some students always criticize because they are not the sycophants of the teacher. They are not doing the bootlicking
so you
of the
accept
teacher.
It, Ravi?
So some student will definitely speak truth. Some student will
come on, please, let's mind our language.
So
let's mind our language. Please, Ravi, please. You were just giving lectures. You were just speaking about how there has to be those levels of decency in public life, Ravi. Please pull back. You know, to prove your case, you always do not have to go below the belt. I want to get in quickly, Ajay, into this conversation. He's not speaking much. Then Patabi also wants to come in. Nikhil, you'll have to wait for some time. But Ajay, you know, there is another crux where he says that this is what happens when no consultations are done with the people who will use the building. Is the problem really, Ajay, about a trust deficit right now between the government and the opposition? I mean, why so much of a trust deficit? You have the numbers, but why did you have so much secrecy? Why were you not open? Why can't you be more forthcoming towards the opposition? At least take their positive criticism.
We are answerable to the nation, not to the opposition, and that kind of an opposition who has lost his mind. The first idea of getting new parliament building getting constructed was way back in 2008, 9 and 2012. Not in the Modi regime, when it was decided and it was a collective decision that yes, we need a new parliament because it lacks the basic infrastructure and the modernity and the technology which we require. Now everybody knows, we are all sitting intellectual, giving their brains out, chopping their grey matters out. I don't understand one thing. We have a delimitation coming in 2026. The number of MPs are going to go
That's
more.
A lie. After
that's a lie. The delimitation will start constructing the parliament.
That's a lie.
What kind of bizarre statement and bizarre argument? I told you, no, there's no point.
What is a lie, Nikhil? What is a lie?
I'm pretty sure that tomorrow
The lie is
they
that
are
you are
in
having
a position to
delimitation after
comment when Ram
2026.
Mandir will be open for everyone. They will comment. They will comment on Ram Mandir
Article
also.
82 amendment.
Ask them.
Article
Ask these
82
Congress
amendment.
people or any one of them.
You can't spill
How
lies to the
many of
country.
them
You
have
can't
visited
spill lies
Ram
to the
Mandir till
country.
now? How many of them have visited Kashi corridor now?
Article 82
Have they ever president?
very clear
They are in the
delimitation
they are in
will
a
take
habit of
place
criticizing everything.
after the census
So there's no
that
point.
takes
There's no point banging my head to the wall.
So either the Modi
Let the
government
people
will
of
have to
this
say
country
that we
reply
are
to
going to
them.
delay the census by
Let
more
the
than 5
people of
years,
this country reply
or
to
this
them.
first delimitation that is
Don't
going
shout.
to happen
You are a
now
journalist. You are
would
not a
be beyond
Congress booth,
2035.
You are a journalist. Have some decorum. You are
I am
writing
not a
yourself as
journalist.
political
Yes, sir, I am a
analyst. What
lawyer.
kind of
Nikhil
analysis
has
you are
got
doing?
some facts
I am
What
not a
kind of
journalist, I am a
analysis you are
lawyer.
doing? You don't
I am a
require
lawyer, I am
a
not a
new
journalist.
parliament. You
I am a
don't
lawyer.
require a new parliament.
Nikhil,
You
even
don't
lawyers can
require
be
a new
wrong. I mean,
parliament.
there are no hard and
You
fast
may be a
rules.
lawyer,
When an architecture,
that
air
is
conditioning
not
will
the
be
point. The point is that I'm not a
implemented to
journalist.
justify
Where
your
will the
hate
new
for a
MP
parliament
sit?
that has been
In your lap?
inaugurated by the Prime Minister, anything is possible.
Deepti, can I point out another example
Yes.
where the
Deepti,
Congress
I
has opposed for
interjected.
the sake of opposition?
Huh.
Today, Rahul Gandhi says that the women reservation bill will suffer because there is no census and therefore the delimitation is postponed.
Yes.
When the Modi government initiated the process of NPR, which was the first party to object, it was the Congress. The Congress today says we need a caste census. Karnataka did a caste census. Did they publish it? They did not. And this was a Congress government. So the Congress will oppose everything. They will ask for everything, but they will not do it in any of their states. That is the hypocrisy of the party I want to point out on national television.
Okay.
If you want to oppose, come up with credible ideas. Don't oppose for the sake of it, because now it's become like a cliche in Indian politics.
And it gets an oxymoron, no, Nikhil? After a point, people will never believe you. Like you've heard that story of Sher Aaya. So it just becomes like that, you know. People do not believe the Congress any longer. But Ravi, yes, Ravi.
Deepti, even the words like socialistic and
Ravi next, and then Patabi, Regula Reddy and Parminder ji also.
This is the one fraud by the government. First thing, they have removed the word, the socialistic and the secular, from the constitution, preamble of the constitution, which was amended.
The original constitution was given to every member.
It was
not the amended constitution.
There. And you were
as a respect to Baba Saheb Ambedkar.
No, do you have proof of that, Ravi? A lot of this could be a conspiracy theory also. Have you seen it yourself? When you're sitting on national television, you're making that big claim. Have you seen this yourself?
Big claim is there, right on social media, and Kharge ji has shown it. What more evidence you want?
Arey Baba, ab social media, you're going to be citing social media, Patabi. What is the problem of the I.N.D.I.A alliance? You know, like Justin Trudeau says, I googled it.
Ravi Srivastava is Congress's
So,
Justin
what's
Trudeau.
going on? What's going on? Quickly, Patabi.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of any ED and VD and CBI and CID. I'm not scared of anyone like that.
So even if you're not afraid, Ravi, that's a good thing. But let's not spread fake news, please. We are all against fake news.
To start debating on comments on social media.
Yes.
See, on behalf of TDP,
yes.
Yeah, we do have differences with the government, with Mr. Modi and the NDA, but it doesn't mean that, you start opposing everything. See, there should be some rationality behind any kind of criticism you make. If Mr. Jairam Ramesh is so amused to use a binocular, let him use that binocular and look at the 50,000 kilometers of national highways that have been built in the past 9 years. Let him use that binocular and look at the 37,000 kilometers of railway track that have been electrified. Let him use that binoculars and look at the
Patabi, I think you've decided you are never going to go the I.N.D.I.A alliance way. Otherwise, they will always remember and cite these remarks that you're making. Regula is still being very cautious, and he's pulled back. He's not going all out against the alliance. I'm completely running out of time. The conversation is very interesting. Regula, I'll give you the last word. Only 10 seconds. Regula Reddy, only 10 seconds.
Nikhil was saying we are on fence. We are not taking anybody's side. Nikhil, we don't have to take either I.N.D.I.A side or N.D.A side also. We have our own opinion. We understand. And we believe that the country wanted a strong alternative. Yeah, of course. I mean, we don't want to waste time on these kind of unnecessary issues where you keep both these parties floating for non-issues and all that. So they much larger issues, much important issues which benefit this people of the country. We want to discuss and we want to share our ideas. I think these are certainly not called for.
All right. That's a good thought to wrap this conversation on. My director tells me I have absolutely no time. So I thank all gentlemen right now. Thank you so much for this conversation. On the other side, we are back with lots more. Good night. Thank you for watching.
Amity University is proud to present the Faculty Research Awards by Careers 360, acknowledging India's brightest minds in the field of academic research at Pradhan Mantri Sangrahalaya, New Delhi on the 6th of October as part of Amity's commitment to further research and innovation in our country.
ಆತ ಒಂದು ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಹಿಂದೆ ಇಟ್ಟ ಎಂದಾಗ ಅದು ಸೋಲಲ್ಲ, ಬೇಟೆ ಶುರು ಅಂತಾನೆ ಅರ್ಥ. ಚದುರಂಗದಾಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ಏಕಸ್ಥಿತ ಸೈನಿಕ ಕ್ಷಣ ಮಾತ್ರ ಸಿಎಂ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಪ್ರಧಾನಿ ಪಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿದ್ದ ವಾಜಪೇಯಿ ಒಂದು ವೋಟ್ನಿಂದ ಸೋಲ್ತಾರೆ. ಏನು ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ತಪಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಹೋದವರು PM ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಪಾಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ 1+1 2 ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದು 11 ಆಗಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ 22 ಆಗಬಹುದು. ನಾಯಕ ಆದವನು ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬನನ್ನ ಗೆಲ್ಲಿಸಲೇಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೋಲಿಸಿದವನು ನಾಯಕನೇ. ಇದನ್ನೇ ಅಜೆಂಡಾ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಎಸ್, ಏನು ಮುಂದೆ ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಸಂಜೆ 6 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಅಜೆಂಡಾಗಳೊಂದಿಗೆ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ.
ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲೇ ಸಂಚಲನ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿಸುತ್ತಿದೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಕನ್ನಡ. ನಾನು ಶ್ರೀಪಾದ್ ಪಾಟೀಲ್. ಇನ್ಮುಂದೆ ದಿನದ ಬಿಗ್ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರಮುಖ ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳ ಆಳ ಅಗಲ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳ ವಿಸ್ತೃತ ವರದಿಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ಹಾಜರಾಗ್ತೀನಿ. ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರಿ ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಕನ್ನಡ, ಇದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಧ್ವನಿ.
ಅದೇ ಹಳೆ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್, ಅದೇ ಹಳೆ ಟೇಪ್ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡರ್. ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತೀರಿ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಿ. ಬನ್ನಿ ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಕನ್ನಡದ ಜೊತೆ ಬದಲಾಗಿ ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ರಾತ್ರಿ 9 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ. ಸುದ್ದಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಆ ಸುದ್ದಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಹತ್ತರ ಪಾತ್ರ ವಹಿಸುತ್ತೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ರಾತ್ರಿ 9 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ. ಅದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಚ್ಚುಮೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಬಿಗ್ 3 ಬದಲಾದ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ನನ್ನ ಜೊತೆ. ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಕನ್ನಡ, ಇದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಧ್ವನಿ.
ಆತ ಒಂದು ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಹಿಂದೆ ಇಟ್ಟ ಎಂದಾಗ ಅದು ಸೋಲಲ್ಲ, ಬೇಟೆ ಶುರು ಅಂತಾನೆ ಅರ್ಥ. ಚದುರಂಗದಾಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ಏಕಸ್ಥಿತ ಸೈನಿಕ ಕ್ಷಣ ಮಾತ್ರ PM ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಪ್ರಧಾನಿ ಪಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿದ್ದ ವಾಜಪೇಯಿ ಒಂದು ವೋಟ್ನಿಂದ ಸೋಲ್ತಾರೆ. ಏನು ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ತಪಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಹೋದವರು PM ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಪಾಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ 1+1 2 ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದು 11 ಆಗಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ
ನೀವು ವೀಕ್ಷಿಸುತ್ತಿರುವಿರಿ ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಕನ್ನಡ.
ಆತ ಒಂದು ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಹಿಂದೆ ಇಟ್ಟ ಎಂದಾಗ ಅದು ಸೋಲಲ್ಲ, ಬೇಟೆ ಶುರು ಅಂತಾನೆ ಅರ್ಥ. ಚದುರಂಗದಾಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ಏಕಸ್ಥಿತ ಸೈನಿಕ ಕ್ಷಣ ಮಾತ್ರ PM ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಪ್ರಧಾನಿ ಪಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿದ್ದ ವಾಜಪೇಯಿ ಒಂದು ವೋಟ್ನಿಂದ ಸೋಲ್ತಾರೆ. ಏನು ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ತಪಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಹೋದವರು PM ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಪಾಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ 1+1 2 ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದು 11 ಆಗಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ 22 ಆಗಬಹುದು. ನಾಯಕ ಆದವನು ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬನನ್ನ ಗೆಲ್ಲಿಸಲೇಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೋಲಿಸಿದವನು ನಾಯಕನೇ. ಇದನ್ನೇ ಅಜೆಂಡಾ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಎಸ್, ಏನು ಮುಂದೆ ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಸಂಜೆ 6 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಅಜೆಂಡಾಗಳೊಂದಿಗೆ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ.
ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲೇ ಸಂಚಲನ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿಸುತ್ತಿದೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಕನ್ನಡ. ನಾನು ಶ್ರೀಪಾದ್ ಪಾಟೀಲ್. ಇನ್ಮುಂದೆ ದಿನದ ಬಿಗ್ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರಮುಖ ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳ ಆಳ ಅಗಲ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳ ವಿಸ್ತೃತ ವರದಿಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ಹಾಜರಾಗ್ತೀನಿ. ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರಿ ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಕನ್ನಡ, ಇದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಧ್ವನಿ.
ಅದೇ ಹಳೆ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್, ಅದೇ ಹಳೆ ಟೇಪ್ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡರ್. ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತೀರಿ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಿ. ಬನ್ನಿ ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಕನ್ನಡದ ಜೊತೆ ಬದಲಾಗಿ ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ರಾತ್ರಿ 9 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ. ಸುದ್ದಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಆ ಸುದ್ದಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಹತ್ತರ ಪಾತ್ರ ವಹಿಸುತ್ತೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ರಾತ್ರಿ 9 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ. ಅದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಚ್ಚುಮೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಬಿಗ್ 3 ಬದಲಾದ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ನನ್ನ ಜೊತೆ. ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಕನ್ನಡ, ಇದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಧ್ವನಿ.
ಆತ ಒಂದು ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಹಿಂದೆ ಇಟ್ಟ ಎಂದಾಗ ಅದು ಸೋಲಲ್ಲ, ಬೇಟೆ ಶುರು ಅಂತಾನೆ ಅರ್ಥ. ಚದುರಂಗದಾಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ಏಕಸ್ಥಿತ ಸೈನಿಕ ಕ್ಷಣ ಮಾತ್ರ PM ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಪ್ರಧಾನಿ ಪಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿದ್ದ ವಾಜಪೇಯಿ 1 ವೋಟ್ನಿಂದ ಸೋಲ್ತಾರೆ. ಏನು ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ತಪಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಹೋದವರು PM ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಪಾಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ 1+1 2 ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದು 11 ಆಗಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ 22 ಆಗಬಹುದು. ನಾಯಕ ಆದವನು ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬನನ್ನ ಗೆಲ್ಲಿಸಲೇಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೋಲಿಸಿದವನು ನಾಯಕನೇ. ಇದನ್ನೇ ಅಜೆಂಡಾ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಎಸ್, ಇನ್ನು ಮುಂದೆ ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಸಂಜೆ 6 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಅಜೆಂಡಾಗಳೊಂದಿಗೆ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ.
ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲೇ ಸಂಚಲನ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿಸುತ್ತಿದೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಕನ್ನಡ. ನಾನು ಶ್ರೀಪಾದ್ ಪಾಟೀಲ್. ಇನ್ಮುಂದೆ ದಿನದ ಬಿಗ್ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರಮುಖ ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳ ಆಳ ಅಗಲ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳ ವಿಸ್ತೃತ ವರದಿಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ
Republic Media Network storms Karnataka market. Our Kannada is officially live now. 6 years, 4 channels and 6 super brands. Republic Media Network is just getting started. With 438 million reach in just 6 years, Republic is now India's largest news network.
मोदी जी ने 5 दिन का सेशन बुलाया था, लेकिन 4 दिन में ही खत्म किया. क्यों? क्योंकि उनको नया बनाया हुआ बिल्डिंग दिखाना था.
Major face-off as Rahul Zaid calls Parliament Modi Multiplex. Congress chief calls special session exhibition.
हमारे राष्ट्रपति द्रौपदी मुर्मू जी को वो नए बिल्डिंग इनॉग्रेशन में इनविटेशन भी नहीं दिया. ये है शेड्यूल ट्राइब के तहत.
Congress president stokes controversy, insults President Murmu, also says Kovind was not invited for the inauguration earlier because he was untouchable.
जब से इस स्टेडियम की तस्वीरें बाहर आई हैं, हर काशीवासी गदगद हो गया है. महादेव की नगरी में ये स्टेडियम, उसकी डिजाइन स्वयं महादेव को ही समर्पित है.
In his Lok Sabha constituency, Varanasi, Prime Minister launches a plethora of projects, including Lord Shiva-inspired mega international stadium. Khalistani terrorist Nijjar was put on no-fly list by United States as well as Canada. Is Trudeau backing a Khalistani terrorist? However, it seems like the controversy over the new parliament is not. Completely obsessing over the new parliament is Congress party. One of its top leaders, who is a close aide of Rahul Gandhi, has attacked the new parliament. He called the new parliament a Modi multiplex. I repeat, a Modi multiplex, saying that the halls are not cozy, calling the new parliament claustrophobic. And then on other side is the Congress president, who called the special session an exhibition. Here are the latest developments.
The I.N.D.I.A has launched a concerted attack on the new parliament. In a series of back-to-back statements, I.N.D.I.A members have attacked the concept and planning for the building, its inauguration, and the inaugural special session that just concluded.
एक चीज जो मैं बता रहा हूं, जो ग्रेस और मैजेस्टी उस बिल्डिंग में थी, दूसरा एक बहुत अच्छा पहलू है, हम जब सदन में बैठते थे ना, तो पक्ष का आदमी विपक्ष के पास बड़ी आसानी से जाकर के एक संवाद रहता था. आज हमारे पास कुछ नहीं है.
Calling it a Modi multiplex, the Congress says it will find a new use for the parliament if it displaces the Modi regime in 2024. Right after Congress MP Jairam Ramesh criticized the new parliament, BJP President JP Nadda hit out, stating that such statements showcase a pathetic mindset. The BJP has also called out the Grand Old Party for insulting the aspirations of 140 crore Indians. And more voices have added their own attacks and counter-attacks.
मोदी जी ने 5 दिन का सेशन बुलाया था, लेकिन 4 दिन में ही खत्म किया. क्यों? क्योंकि उनको नया बनाया हुआ बिल्डिंग दिखाना था, और उस बिल्डिंग में ऐसा क्या है मुझे तो मालूम नहीं हुआ.
Union Minister Giriraj Singh also joined the debate, daring the Congress to return Indira Gandhi's residence property. While Hardeep Puri said that the problem is with the Congress, not the Parliament. With an all-out battle now breaking out over what one would think is an irrevocable symbol of New India, the question is the opposition running out of issues? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
And Canada has readily compromised. It's already strained diplomatic ties with India over the slain Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. And the biggest diplomatic face-off is only getting bigger and bigger now. Now in a clincher, accessed by Republic, we learned that as Canada, despite being aware of its criminal antecedents, has tried to persuade the world that Nijjar was merely a religious leader. It has surfaced that Hardeep Singh Nijjar was found to be at the flight risk in the United States and was on the country's no-fly list since 2019. The world is condemning Trudeau's fake allegations. Here is a complete report.
Justin Trudeau has readily compromised Canada's already strained diplomatic ties with India over the slain Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. He accused India of killing Nijjar and has since offered no evidence, using terms like credible allegations.
Over the past number of weeks, Canadian security agencies have been actively pursuing credible allegations of a potential link between agents of the government of India and the killing of a Canadian citizen, Hardeep Singh Nijjar.
This baseless allegation, which India outrightly denied, triggered a huge diplomatic row and sent relations between the two countries plummeting.
Words used by Canadian Prime Minister, Foreign Minister, and then the US Ambassador, right? Yes, I do think there is a degree of prejudice here, They have made the allegations, they have taken action on them. To us, it seems or it appears that these allegations by the Government of Canada are primarily politically driven.
But Republic has accessed key details about I.N.D.I.A that Trudeau hasn't revealed. It turns out that I.N.D.I.A, who travelled to Pakistan and was rejected multiple times over almost 18 years before being granted Canadian citizenship, was also on a US no-fly list in 2019. To add to that, regardless of Trudeau's recent backing for the Khalistani terrorist, it has been revealed that I.N.D.I.A was also on Canada's no-fly list in 2017 and 18.
Investigative agencies indicating that there are sympathizers of this very organization that have come under the radar. In fact, their properties too could also be seized. The second aspect is, after Gurpatwant Singh Pannu, there are other Khalistani terrorists against whom the similar action would be taken. In fact, they've drawn up a list, about 6 to 7 of them. Most of them are actually hiding in Canada. In fact, that list has also been accessed.
Earlier, Republic accessed Canada's 2018 terror threat report, wherein for the first time the Canadian government had made an outright mention of Khalistani extremism in its annual terror threat report.
Prime Minister Trudeau raised the issue, but there wasn't necessarily consensus on what it meant. And regardless, let's not fool ourselves. Let's not fool ourselves. Hardeep Singh Nijjar was not simply a plumber. He had blood on his hands through multiple attacks, and therefore Blinken may, after the fact, say that the United States will always stand against transnational repression.
However, the Trudeau government later dropped the reference. But today, Trudeau has been completely cornered and isolated and is being asked to wake up, with a top former US Pentagon official equating I.N.D.I.A to Osama bin Laden. Can Trudeau wash his hands off the false allegations he had raised against India? Bureau Report, Republic TV.